Big developments coming out of Las Vegas. The Raiders are hosting a quarterback prospect, but he is not considered a top 10 pick. So, what does it mean? And Raiders GM John Spytek speaks loud about the upcoming draft. So, we have a lot more to unpack. Let's get started. What's up, buddies? Welcome back. If you are new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button. We cover all AFC West news here on this channel. Okay, starting with the QB prospect, the Raiders are hosting quarterback prospect Jalen Milroe for a private visit. And I think this tells us a lot about where this team is heading. Milroe's a guy with real potential, tons of upside. He's not perfect yet. He had a rough end to his last college season, which is why he's not in that top 5 or top 10 pick conversation anymore. But when you watch him, you see the tools: speed, explosiveness, and a pretty solid deep ball. He's got that athletic spark. Think somewhere between Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts, though maybe not quite at Lamar's level. For the Raiders, this could be a smart move, especially if they grab him in the second or third round. Now, why does this make sense? Look at their current setup. Geno Smith is their guy right now. He's 35, still playing at a high level, and they got him for just a late third-round pick. Pete Carroll, the head coach, can't say enough good things about him. He's tough, durable, a leader, and his completion numbers are strong. Carroll's talked about how Geno sat for years, stayed sharp, and then exploded when he got his shot. 3 winning seasons later, he's proving he's still got it. The Raiders are working on extending him, maybe 2 more years with an option for a third. That keeps them steady while they figure out what's next. And that's where Milroe fits in. He's not ready to start day one. He needs time to grow, especially with reading defenses. But if he sits behind Smith for a couple of years, learns the system, and develops, you've got a natural timeline. The Raiders could run the ball well, lean on their playmakers, and let Milroe ease in. It's a patient approach, but with his athletic ability, some say he's a 4.3-second 40-yard dash guy, the payoff could be huge. Okay, now moving into John Spytek's recent podcast appearance, and everything swirling around what he said. I've been chewing on this for a bit, and I'll give you the full breakdown. Spytek was on this 25-minute podcast, and he was loose, chatty, and dropping some real nuggets about where the Raiders might be headed. Let's start with the big one: Ashton Jeanty, the Boise State running back, and what Spytek's saying or not saying about him. Spytek's 10-year-old son, Jack, stole the show here. The kid's a die-hard Jeanty fan, says if the Raiders don't grab him with the 6th overall pick, he's out, done with the family, rooting for whoever takes Jeanty instead. He even marched into the Raiders facility and told owner Mark Davis, "Hey, if my dad skips Jeanty, he's blowing it." That's hilarious, but Spytek's response is where it gets interesting. He laughed it off, saying Jack's all about fantasy football, touchdowns, big plays, the stuff that lights up a kid's stat sheet. Not team building, though. Then when the host asked if Jack watches film with him, Spytek said no. Jack's on YouTube, soaking up highlights. Spytek's like, "Buddy, those are just the good parts. You've got to watch the whole game. Don't get sucked in by the sizzle." That stuck with me. It's subtle, but it feels like Spytek's hinting he's not buying the Jeanty hype based on flash alone. As a GM, he's got to see the full picture, every snap, not just the SportsCenter clips. To me, that's a sign he might not be as locked in on Jeanty as people assume. Now let's layer in something else. Spytek was at Boise State's Pro Day, the only GM there. That's a head-scratcher because it happened the same day LSU and Ohio State were holding theirs, with like 30 prospects between them, while Boise State's got 2. Jeanty's the obvious draw. He's a legit top 15 talent, a dynamic runner who could go as high as 6. When that news hit a few days ago, everyone thought, okay, Spytek's all in on Jeanty. But I'm not so sure. Pair that with his podcast comments, and I start wondering if he's playing a game here. Maybe he's trying to spook another team, like the Bears, who've got Ben Johnson calling plays and a history of grabbing a running back early with Jahmyr Gibbs, into trading up for Jeanty. Or maybe he's dangling it to see if someone swaps with the Raiders. My opinion? I think he's smarter than just chasing a running back that high. He's got bigger needs, and this could be a smokescreen to mask his real plan. Then there's this trade rumor that's got my attention. Hondo Carpenter reported the Raiders tried to snag Kenneth Walker from the Seahawks. It's not 100% confirmed, but it tracks. Pete Carroll, the Raiders head coach, picked Walker in the second round back in Seattle. Geno Smith's first year starting, I think. Walker's been solid, though he dipped to 3.7 yards per carry last season, and he's in his final contract year now. Seattle could move him, save about $2 million, take a small $829,000 dead cap hit, and maybe get a fourth or fifth round pick back. For the Raiders, that's a low-risk swing. Carroll knows what he's got in Walker, a tough physical runner who could fit their system. I like the idea. Walker's proven he can handle NFL reps. And if you're not sold on Jeanty at 6, why not grab a guy like this instead? To me, it suggests Spytek might be cooling on a high-pick running back and looking for a cheaper fix. If I'm the Raiders, I'd rather trade for Walker and use that 6th pick elsewhere than bet it all on Jeanty's upside. That brings us to Spytek's whole vibe on team building, because this is where I think he's showing his cards. He's right. Fantasy football's fun, but Super Bowls come from the trenches. The Raiders have a nasty defensive line, legit top-tier potential, but their offensive line is a mess. Jackson Powers-Johnson is a stud at center, probably one of the best in the league soon. Kolton Miller's a top 20 tackle, no question. But the guards? Weak? And DJ Glaze at right tackle? I'm not sold. Spytek said Glaze is their guy for now, but with 8 or 9 picks coming, they're adding competition. Will Campbell and Charles Grant, 2 big-time prospects, already visited. I've watched Glaze's tape. He's fine, but he doesn't move like the elite guys. Compare him to rookies like Penei Sewell or Christian Darrisaw. You could see their fluidity, their football IQ right away. Glaze doesn't have that pop. Maybe he gets better in year 2, but I'd slide him to guard, where he could be our best option and draft a true tackle. My take, that 6th pick should be an offensive lineman, someone to lock down the right side and keep Geno Smith upright. Jeanty's a weapon, sure, but without a line, he's not hitting holes anyway. Speaking of the roster, let's talk about these new NFL rules, because they're going to hit the Raiders one way or another. First up, Sony's Hawkeye Tech, 6 8K cameras in every stadium, all synced up to spot the ball perfectly. No sensors, just crystal clear angles. Last year we saw games where Amazon Prime had shots the refs couldn't use. Drove me nuts. This fixes that, and I'm all for it. Fewer bad calls, more trust in the game. Second, replay assist is expanding. If a ref throws a flag for a face mask or a horse collar and it's wrong, replay jumps in and corrects it. It won't add flags, but it'll clean up the mistakes. That's big for the Raiders. Geno's going to take hits, and I'd rather not lose yards on a phantom call. Third, kickoffs are shifting. If you boot it out of the end zone, the other team starts at the 35, not the 30. It's a push for more returns, and I like the intent. The Raiders might need to tweak their special teams, maybe lean on faster guys at the bottom of the roster. Last, overtime's getting a facelift. Both teams get a shot, even if the first scores a touchdown, just like the playoffs. It's fair, and I think it's smart, but it could flip strategy. Kicking off first might become the move. Score, stop them, go for 2, win. For the Raiders, these rules could be a boost if they're sharp, but a sloppy roster will get exposed. So, what's my take on all this? Spytek's podcast vibe, team building over highlights, the Walker trade buzz, it tells me he's not sold on Jeanty at 6. He's got an elite defensive line, a good quarterback in Geno, but that offensive line's a glaring hole. I'd bet he's eyeing a tackle or guard with that pick, not a running back. The Walker rumor fits that. He'd rather plug the position with a vet and build the trenches. Jeanty's tempting, no doubt. He's explosive, a game changer, but I don't think you win big without a solid front. The rules? They're a nice bonus. Cleaner games, more strategy, but they won't matter if the Raiders don't fix their foundation. I'm curious what you think. Is Spytek bluffing about Jeanty? Should they trade for Walker or draft a lineman? Hit me with your thoughts.